Okay, so cast your mind back to 2018. Do you remember that feeling? The sheer anticipation, maybe even disbelief around a certain
Oh,
movie.
absolutely. It's not often a film comes along that really shakes things up like that, is it?
Right. It didn't just entertain, it felt like it sort of reshaped the whole superhero genre, left everyone in shock. And you, our listeners, you sent us just a mountain of stuff on it, articles, research, notes.
Yeah, a fantastic amount of material. And that's what we're doing here, the deep dive today, isn't it? We're going to unpack all of that.
Exactly. Go beyond the headlines, understand the what, the how, and definitely the why behind its huge impact.
Consider this your shortcut, maybe, to getting the core insights without wading through everything yourself. We've distilled it down to the key nuggets, the things you might have missed.
So today's deep dive is all about Avengers, Infinity War. That 2018 movie that, well, it capped off a decade of storytelling.
Mm-hmm. And gave us the snap heard around the universe.
Precisely. So get ready. We're diving into how they managed that insane cast list, how they dared to make the villain the main character, really,
Yeah, and smashed box office records.
and delivered that ending that just echoed everywhere, didn't it? Influenced everything that came after.
It really did. We'll look at the bold choices, the tech that made
Mm.
it possible, even the philosophy underneath it all.
It was, without exaggeration, a defining moment. Set a new standard.
Definitely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start unpacking this idea of it being a decade in the making, a grand convergence.
Right, because Infinity War, released 2018, wasn't just film number 19 in the MCU. It felt bigger.
It did, like a chapter ending. Directed by the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe.
And that powerhouse script from Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, with Kevin Feige overseeing everything, of course.
What strikes me is how upfront they were about it being a culmination. Feige specifically said, didn't he, that Infinity War and Endgame were about exploring like actual endings for some characters.
Yeah, which was a huge deal. I mean, for a franchise this massive, this successful, to talk about definitive endings, that's a risk.
The massive creative risk, and financially too, you'd think. But it wasn't just about keeping the train running indefinitely.
No, it was building towards something finite, something with real stakes.
And speaking of building, that cast, I mean, just listing them is kind of overwhelming.
It's insane. You had the originals, the absolute anchors, Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Hemsworth as Thor, Ruffalo's Hulk, Chris Evans' Cap, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
Right, the core. But then everyone else who'd become huge in their own right. Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, Tom Holland Spider-Man, Chadwick Boseman Black Panther.
Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Karen Gillan's Nebula, Tom Hiddleston back as Loki, Paul Bettany as Vision, Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch.
Don Cheadle, War Machine, Anthony Mackie, Falcon, Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier. The list just goes on.
And crucially, Josh Brolin as Thanos. His performance really shaped the whole feel of the film, didn't it?
Absolutely. He wasn't just the obstacle. He was the driving force, which leads to that idea of the grand convergence.
Exactly. It wasn't just throwing heroes together. It was merging these previously quite separate worlds. The Avengers, the Guardians, Wakanda, all forced onto the same stage.
The logistics alone, just trying to balance all those stories, all those fan-favorite characters, it's kind of staggering they pulled it off.
It really is a testament to that long-term universe building.
Which brings us neatly to Marvel's strategy here. It was bold, wasn't it?
Incredibly bold. Marcus and McFeely, the writers, they were basically told they could use anyone from the MCU.
And this is the kicker, they could kill him off. Permanently, potentially.
Right. That wasn't just about shock value. It was about making the stakes feel absolutely real. It showed the payoff of that decade-long narrative strategy.
And because of that decade, every character came with so much baggage, so much history.
Exactly. You weren't meeting them for the first time. You had years of investment in their journeys, their relationships.
So when they interacted or when they faced loss, it hit so much harder you couldn't get that emotional weight in a standalone film.
No way. You cared. Deeply.
So looking bigger picture, what did this mean for Hollywood? Infinity War's success must have sent ripples.
Oh, huge ripples. It basically stamped a massive, approved on the whole shared universe model.
It proved you could make interconnected movies over years and build towards something massive, and audiences would follow.
And not just follow, but invest huge amounts emotionally and financially. It became the blueprint, didn't it?
Yeah, the blueprint everyone else tried to copy. Often. Well, often without the same success.
It showed the power of patience and planning and storytelling on a scale we hadn't really seen before. Okay, moving on. We absolutely have to talk about the villain. The villain's journey Thanos and the Infinity Stones.
Right, because this is one of the most fascinating things about Infinity War, how Thanos is essentially the protagonist.
Yeah, Kevin Feige called it Thanos' hero's arc, didn't he? And McFeely, the writer, said the same. It's his hero journey.
Which is such a flip for a superhero blockbuster. Usually the villain is just the obstacle. Here, the plot follows him.
And his quest is crystal clear. Get all 6 Infinity Stones. Space, power, reality, soul, time, mind.
With that horrifying goal, wipe out half of all life. Balance the universe, as he puts it.
And that's what makes him so chillingly complex. He's not just mustache-twirling evil. He genuinely believes he's doing the right thing.
A noble cause in his mind, even if it's utterly destructive. He sees it as necessary for survival, not for his own gain.
It's pure consequentialism, isn't it? The ends justify the means, no matter how horrific those means are. He has this absolute terrifying moral certainty.
But then they give him moments of what humanity, love, grief.
Exactly. That moment he cries when he sacrifices Gamora for the Soul Stone.
It's deeply unsettling. It makes him more monstrous somehow, not less.
Yeah, it complicates everything. Brolin apparently compared him to Quasimodo and mentioned the novel Perfume, like Born a Freak, right? Suggesting this deep-seated otherness. And Joe Russo apparently used The Godfather as a reference point for Brolin sometimes to tap into that emotional core.
Wow. So they really worked to make him more than just a CGI baddie.
Definitely. And his relentless quest drives the whole plot forward at breakneck speed, that opening scene.
Oh, man. Brutal. Thanos just dismantling the Asgardian ship, getting the Space Stone, killing Loki.
Mortally wounding Heimdall, who just manages to send Hulk to Earth. It sets the stakes immediately. No messing around.
From there, it's this chase across the universe, isn't it? Heroes scrambling, Thanos always one step ahead.
You got Banner landing in New York, warning Strange and Wong. They pull in Tony Stark.
Then, bam! Maw and Obsidian arrive for the Time Stone. Huge fight in Greenwich Village. Strange gets captured.
And Stark and Spider-Man make that impulsive jump onto the ship, just reacting, trying to catch up.
Meanwhile, out in space, the Guardians pick up Thor's distress signal.
Right. They rescue Thor, who figures Thanos is heading for the Reality Stone on nowhere.
So Thor takes Rocket and Groot on that side quest to Nidavellir to get a Thanos-killing weapon, Stormbreaker.
While Quill, Gamora, Drax, and Mantis head to nowhere themselves.
Only to find Thanos has already got the Reality Stone. He's just relentless.
And then he grabs Gamora, forces her to reveal the Soul Stone's location, Vormir.
Which leads to that awful scene with Red Skull, the sacrifice.
Yeah. Thanos throwing Gamora off the cliff, getting the Soul Stone at the cost of the one person he seemed to love. It's gut-wrenching.
And back on Earth, there's another fight brewing. Wanda and Vision get attacked in Edinburgh.
Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive going for the Mind Stone in Vision's head.
Until Cap, Black Widow, and Falcon show up. Rescue them.
And they all decide Wakanda is the safest place. Try and get the stone out of Vision there.
So all these separate threads, Titan, Nowhere, Nidavellir, Earth, they're all building towards these huge final confrontations.
Leading to the failed stand and the climactic snap. First, on Titan.
Yeah, that bizarre team-up. Stark, Spider-Man, Strange, with Quill, Drax, Mantis, and eventually Nebula shows up too.
And they actually come up with a decent plan. Hold Thanos down, pull off the gauntlet.
They almost do it. They have him subdued, Mantis has him under.
But then Quill finds out about Gamora. Loses it.
Understandably, maybe, but oh, the timing. He breaks the hold. Thanos snaps out of it.
And that's when Strange makes that call. He'd seen the future right. Only one way to win out of millions.
So he gives up the Time Stone to save Tony Stark's life. It seems like defeat, but...
But Strange knew something they didn't. A calculated sacrifice.
Meanwhile, in Wakanda, chaos. The Avengers, the Wakandan army, Thor arriving with Rocket and Groot.
Trying to hold off Thanos' army while Shuri frantically works on Vision.
It's desperate. And Wanda, she makes the choice, doesn't she, to destroy Vision and the stone herself.
An agonizing choice. But Thanos uses the Time Stone, reverses it.
Whips the Mind Stone right out of Vision's head, completes the gauntlet, just like that.
Thor gets one shot, hits him hard with Stormbreaker. Chest wound. Looks bad.
But not enough. Thanos is wounded, but he's still conscious, still has the gauntlet.
He lifts his hand and snaps his fingers.
Then vanishes, and then the dusting.
Half of everyone gone. Heroes vanishing. Bucky, T'Challa, Groot, Wanda, Sam, Mantis, Drax, Quill, Strange.
Peter Parker. Oh God, Peter Parker's I don't feel so good. Heartbreaking.
Even Fury and Hill at the very end, just dust.
In the final shot, Thanos watching a sunrise. Peaceful. He won.
It leaves you absolutely stunned, empty. Like, what just happened?
Stunned is definitely the word, which brings us right into shattering expectations, narrative risks, and emotional core. I mean, that ending.
It just wasn't supposed to happen, was it? Not in a giant superhero movie. The heroes are meant to win.
Exactly. But this film deliberately flips that. The heroes lose. Profoundly. Devastatingly.
And that snap, the disintegration, fans felt that ending, didn't they? That dark prescient, some called it. People were genuinely choked up.
And immediately desperate for answers, hungry for the next part.
It fundamentally shifted what you thought a blockbuster could do. It wasn't just good versus evil, hero wins. It explored failure, real consequences.
And that loss ending, that cliffhanger, it created this unbelievable tension and emotional impact, especially if you maybe didn't follow all the production news and didn't know people were coming back.
For a lot of the audience, it felt truly final, crushing.
And that's why it became more than just a movie, right? It was a proper cultural moment.
Absolutely. It showed audiences could handle, even embrace, a really dark, challenging ending on a massive scale. Sometimes losing is the better story.
And that emotional weight, it worked because the character dynamics were so well established. Remember, the heroes start this movie fractured.
Still feeling the fallout from Civil War, yeah. They weren't a united front, which was a huge challenge. How do you bring them together?
And the solution was often those unexpected team-ups, wasn't it?
Right, putting characters together who hadn't really interacted before. Thor fighting alongside Captain America in Wakanda, that felt earned and exciting.
Or the Guardians meeting Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange on Titan. That mix of personalities was gold.
It served multiple purposes. It felt fresh, created new dynamics, maybe some humor.
But it also forced them to reconnect, rebuild those bonds under fire.
And amidst all the action, they really focused on the relationships. Wanda and Vision. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, with Vision basically being a living MacGuffin, his life tied to that stone.
Or Quill and Gamora. Their story provides that central, tragic sacrifice that enables Thanos' victory, in a way.
Even Banner, oddly enough, felt like he was maybe moving forward while everyone else was reeling.
It used all that history, all those previous films, to give every beat so much more weight.
Which leads us to the philosophical core, doesn't it? The battle of ideas underneath the punching.
Definitely. Infinity War goes deep on morality, sacrifice, the greater good. It really blurs the lines.
Characters face these impossible choices. Sacrifice one to save many. Sacrifice yourself.
And you have Cap's line, right? We don't trade lives. That becomes the hero's mantra.
But it's directly contrasted with Thanos' view, the ultimate utilitarian. Wipe out half to save the other half.
And the most chilling part. In the context of Infinity War's ending, Thanos' way worked. The hero's refusal to trade lives arguably led to their defeat.
Wanda hesitating with Vision, Strange saving Tony. Those choices had massive consequences. It leaves you questioning Cap's certainty.
It's deeply uncomfortable. But then you have Strange's action again, giving up the stone to save Tony.
Someone he barely knew.
Right. Is that a different kind of sacrifice? Not trading a life, but sacrificing power, sacrificing the immediate win for a future possibility based on valuing that life. It's a counterpoint to Thanos sacrificing Gamora for power.
So it's not just a fistfight, it's this ideological clash playing out.
Exactly. Individual lives versus the needs of the many. It makes the film so much more thought-provoking.
It becomes a jumping-off point, a conversation bridge for bigger ethical questions, way beyond just superheroes. So moving from the story to how they actually made this beast, behind the scenes, epic scale, and creative challenges, this thing was huge on every level.
Technically, it was groundbreaking. Remember, it was the first Hollywood movie shot entirely in digital IMAX.
Wow, entirely, not just select scenes.
Nope, the whole thing. They used a new camera system developed with Ari. You needed that scale, that immersive quality, for a story spanning the universe.
Makes sense. And the locations, they were all over the place, weren't they?
Absolutely. Started filming January 2017 at Pinewood in Atlanta, but then went global. Scotland, Edinburgh, Glasgow, the Highlands.
Durham Cathedral in England, St. Abbs.
Then back in the U.S., downtown Atlanta, Central Park, Queens. They even built massive sets, like digging a fake river near Atlanta for Wakanda.
Just the logistics must have been mind-boggling.
And the tech wasn't just cameras. Motion capture was absolutely essential.
For Thanos, obviously, and Hulk. Mark Ruffalo doing his thing.
Yeah, but even the Outriders, Thanos' army, those were actors in mocap suits too.
Really? I assumed they were pure CGI.
Nope. Performance capture gave them the more organic movement.
Yeah.
And for Thanos, Digital Domain developed this thing called Masquerade.
Masquerade? What was that?
A facial capture system using machine learning. It let them capture every tiny nuance of Josh Brolin's performance. That's why Thanos felt so real, so expressive.
So it wasn't just mapping points, it was capturing the emotion.
Precisely. Emotion capture, really. Weighted digital also work on Thanos, especially for the big Titan fight scenes, ensuring consistency.
That level of detail is incredible. Now, thinking about the script, that must have been a journey too.
Oh, yeah. Originally, it was conceived as Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 filmed back-to-back.
I remember that, and they changed it.
Right. Became two distinct films, Infinity War and Endgame, but still filmed back-to-back. Marcus and McFeely had to write both, integrating Thanos and the Stones, which naturally brought in the Guardians.
And they had that freedom we talked about, use anyone, kill anyone.
But the writing process wasn't straightforward. It was very iterative. Started with like 60 pages of just ideas.
Wow, only 60 pages.
Initially, yeah. Then it grew into this huge master document, exploring tons of possibilities, almost like a what-if comic. Constant back and forth with Phage, the Russo's producer, Trin Tran.
How did they even keep track of all the characters and actors?
Literally used baseball cards for each character to figure out groupings, plot lines, actor availability.
That's amazing. Like fantasy football, but with superheroes?
Kind of. And they had to keep everything aligned with the other MCU films being made.
Okay.
Almost weekly calls with Ryan Coogler on Black Panther, Scott Derrickson for Doctor Strange, James Gunn for Guardians.
So much coordination. And rewrites happening too, like for Thor.
Yeah, they adjusted Thor's character significantly to match the funnier tone Taika Waititi established in Ragnarok.
And the secrecy. That was legendary, wasn't it? Actors getting partial scripts, fake scenes.
Had to be done. Protecting that ending was everything.
Speaking of things cut, those deleted scenes are interesting, like the longer engagement party for Tony and Pepper.
Yeah, cut for pacing, get to the action faster. Or the original opening Thanos torturing his Guardians, deemed maybe too dark, too slow compared to the ship attack.
And Hulk was meant to burst out of the Hulkbuster in Wakanda.
Yep, classic Hulk moment. But they cut it to preserve his arc, his refusal to fight being a key point carried into Endgame.
Smart. And the Collector originally survived.
He did in one cut, but it wasn't essential, so they trimmed it. Left his fate open. All that cutting and reshaping continued right up to the end of post-production. They even cut a 45-minute prologue showing Thanos getting the Power Stone from Xandar.
45 minutes. Why?
Partly cost rendering Xandar's destruction would have been massive, and partly runtime. Trust the audience to get it.
So when you look at all this, the tech and the story seem completely intertwined.
Absolutely synergistic. Shooting in IMAX, investing in that advanced mocap. It wasn't just for show. It was necessary to tell this story believably.
Making Thanos work as a character, a believable, emotional CGI character, was key to the whole film's success.
Totally. The tech enabled the narrative ambition, allowed for that philosophical depth because you believed in him. It set a new standard.
And the whole process, the rewrites, the collaboration, it shows the MCU as this constantly evolving, living document.
Yeah, incredibly adaptable. That level of coordination over a decade is maybe the real superpower.
Okay, let's talk impact. A global phenomenon, box office records, and divisive reactions. The money this thing made was just staggering.
Oh, completely. Over $2 billion worldwide. $2.048 billion, to be precise.
Highest grossing film of 2018. Fifth highest of all time back then. Estimated profit of $500 million.
And it wasn't just the total, it was the speed. Fastest ever to hit $1 billion worldwide, 11 days. Beat The Force Awakens.
Wow. And fastest to $1.5 billion too. 18 days. People were just flocking to see it.
The opening weekend was record-shattering. $640.5 million globally.
Yeah.
Blew the previous record out of the water.
Domestically too, right? Biggest opening weekend ever at the time, over $250 million. Beat Star Wars again.
Set records for spring, April openings. Fastest to $250 million. It was just dominant.
And huge internationally.
Yeah.
Highest grossing film ever in like 10 countries. Set opening records everywhere. Huge in India, too.
It was a genuine global event. But here's an interesting pattern.
Go on.
Nearly every record Infinity War set, Endgame broke.
Ah, right. So one directly fed the other.
Absolutely. That cliffhanger ending, the emotional devastation. It basically acted as the world's biggest trailer for Endgame. Created this intense need to see what happened next.
Turned a narrative loss into a massive commercial setup. Clever.
Very clever. Now, about the reactions. Audiences versus critics. There was a bit of a gap, wasn't there?
Yeah, audiences seem to adore it. Overwhelmingly positive. Love the scale, the darkness, the ending. Got an A cinema score.
92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It delivered exactly what the core fans wanted. Thrills, emotion, humor, payoff.
And for younger viewers, maybe less aware of sequel plans, that ending hit like a ton of bricks.
Devastating. Critics, though, generally positive, but more mixed. Rotten Tomatoes score was 84%, still good. But Metacritic, which weights reviews differently, was lower, 68.
Indicating generally favorable, but with reservations. So what were the issues for some critics?
Well, partly it's that Infinity War is the ultimate franchise film. Hard to judge entirely on its own merits, maybe. Some critics just aren't as invested in the MCU overall.
And the ending. Did they buy the stakes?
That was a big point of contention. Many argue the cliffhanger felt, well, temporary. They knew most characters weren't really gone forever. So did the loss truly matter?
They saw it as just one chapter in a never-ending story, maybe lacking real finality.
Yeah, some felt it was part of a corporate machine providing an ending without really providing an ending, if that makes sense.
It does, raises questions about how we evaluate these huge serialized stories. Do traditional critical tools still apply?
It's a challenge. But even with reservations, critics praised a lot. Brolin's Thanos was almost universally acclaimed.
Right, the emotional depth he brought, the direction, the visuals, the action.
Yeah, the scale was undeniable. Even if you had issues with the story structure, the execution was often praised.
But the biggest reaction maybe was just the cultural impact, the snap phenomenon.
Oh, it exploded immediately.
Yeah.
It became the talking point online. Social media went wild.
The memes. Spider-Man's I Don't Feel So Good was everywhere. And that website, didthanoskill.me?
Yeah. See if you survived the snap.
Oh,
Brilliant.
and the Reddit thing. That was nuts.
The Thanos did nothing wrong, deciding to ban half its users to mirror the movie.
And they actually did it. Banned over 300,000 people, including Anthony Russo.
Largest ban in Reddit history. Tens of thousands watched it happen live on Twitch. Even Josh Brolin got involved, posting a video snapping his fingers.
It just shows how deeply the film resonated, how it leaped off the screen into pop culture.
And the power of fan interaction online. It kept the conversation going, amplified the whole event. It wasn't just a movie anymore.
So, thinking about the long term, legacy and lasting impact, where does Infinity War sit now? It feels pivotal, doesn't it? Easily one of the most important MCU films. It really did redefine what a superhero movie could be.
Taking those huge narrative swings, like we discussed, its success basically gave Marvel carte blanche, proved they could take risks and the audience would follow.
And because it tackled themes like death, sacrifice, philosophy, it opened up different kinds of conversations.
Yeah, it acted as that conversation bridge, moving beyond just escapism into something more substantial.
It definitely marked a maturing of the MCU, didn't it? Embracing that darkness.
Absolutely. That willingness to show the heroes lose, to deal with real feeling loss, the moral ambiguity. It felt like a step up in complexity.
And having a villain like Thanos, complex, even capable of love and grief, that shifted things too, moved past simpler good versus evil.
By embracing all that, the loss, the ambiguity, the philosophical weight, Infinity War raised the stakes emotionally for the whole franchise.
It proved the genre could handle serious, impactful storytelling without losing the blockbuster scale. Broadened its appeal, maybe?
I think so. It showed nuance was possible. And its legacy extends to the industry too. That blueprint for shared universes.
Even if others struggled to copy it successfully, it showed the power of long-term audience investment.
And proved that bold, even devastating narrative choices could actually increase engagement, not hurt it. People want stories with real stakes.
Infinity War just feels like one of those films that will be talked about for a long, long time. A benchmark for event cinema.
Absolutely. A cultural moment cemented in time.
So wrapping this up, thinking about what it all means, Avengers, Infinity War. It really was groundbreaking, wasn't it?
On so many levels. Box office, tech innovation, visual effects, performance capture. But maybe most importantly, the story itself.
Yeah, that bold narrative, the complex villain, that shocking ending that nobody saw coming, or at least not quite like that.
It paid off a decade of build-up perfectly while setting the stage for Endgame with stakes higher than ever before.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. We live in this age of, constant information, right? Spoilers everywhere. Surprises are hard to come by.
Yet Infinity War managed it. It genuinely surprised people, provoked real thought, created this massive shared experience.
That goes way beyond just watching a movie.
Exactly. So does that change what we should expect from blockbusters? Does it tell us something about what we actually crave from stories?
Is it just entertainment, or do we secretly want stories that challenge us, shake us up, even leave us hanging with a devastating cliffhanger?
Do we prefer the comfort of knowing the hero wins or the impact of a story that dares to let them lose?
It's a fascinating question, something to chew on. And if this deep dive brought back memories or sparked some new ideas for you?
We definitely want to hear them. What part of Infinity War really stuck with you? What did it make you think about? Let us know.
We always love hearing your perspectives.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Avengers Infinity War. We hope it gave you some valuable insights.
And we look forward to our next exploration together.